to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and it is time to talk about breakout offensive players who could have huge seasons in 2021. Alex.
Wait. Could? Nah, man. Try guaranteed, folks.
I like your enthusiasm.
I gotta believe this, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting this out there for everybody. So if I don't stick by this, I'm no better than
If you believe it, then you can see it.
That's true. You are very accurate indeed, good friend. You're accurate indeed. Listen, my first guy. If you've watched the podcast, you know who I'm about to name. Brandon Nyuk. Brandon Nyuk is primed for a huge 2021. Listen, we demonstrated it, right? We talked about it in our film breakdown of Brandon Nyuk and a couple of other 49ers players. If you haven't watched that, card's up there right now. Go check it out at the end of this video. He's incredible. He's a fantastic route runner for a rookie coming into the league. We highlighted some of that in that breakdown, in that film breakdown. At the end of the day, he just has more time. He's had more time to develop, and he's not going to be asked to be out there running around with Kendrick Bourne and Trent Taylor and River freaking Craycraft.
Well, maybe River Craycraft.
Let's hope to God it's not River Craycraft, folks. All right? Brandon Nyuk is going to be out there not drawing the attention of the team's best cornerback, not drawing bracket coverage from teams because our tight end is down and injured. Deebo has an injury every 5 seconds, right? Jimmy's not on the field, and so Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard are back there slinging passes to people that they can't sling passes to, right? Brandon Nyuk is primed for a breakout 2021 because he's going to have all the pieces around him. He's already a fantastic and phenomenal route runner. He's great getting over the top. Now you're going to add a healthy Deebo Samuel for a whole season, hopefully. Add George Kittle for a whole season. Add Jimmy Garoppolo, improved offensive line, which means you're going to be allowed to send Brandon Nyuk on those deep passes down the sideline, deep intermediate routes where he thrives. He's fantastic in those situations, and you're going to be able to throw him in the slot, match him up with linebackers and safeties in which he has the advantage off the jump just because of the speed by itself. Dude, 2021 is Brandon Nyuk's year. 2021 is a year that this man is going to shine. And if I'm the NFC West, this is the number 2 wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. He could be a number 1 almost anywhere else in the league.
Yeah, I think he's going to be considered the number 1 because, coming out of camp last year, he was nicked up, so he missed a game, and then he was really trying to get his footing and develop as a rookie. So you're completely right. He had a couple instances with the whole testing thing where he had to sit out games, and that really hindered his production, hindered his numbers, but really he had a great season. And I think he's poised for a huge year. You're right. Everything you said is correct, that this guy is poised to have a big-time season. The way Kyle Shanahan is able to use him is going to be fun to watch. He's even taking a little bit of time to get some kick and punt returns in at OTAs. So maybe he's going to be helping in that area. But with a healthy Deebo, like you said, that's going to be big. A healthy George Kittle. And a healthy guy that I'm about to talk about is my breakout player. And this is going to be a controversial one. And I told you guys I'm doubling down. And the controversy can immense. You can say what you want.
And by this point, you're quadrupling down.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. It's Jalen Hurd. Jalen Hurd, I'm going to say it. It has to happen. He's going to have a breakout season. He's going to be healthy, and he's going to make everything we have been thinking about him come true. I think this guy is a beast of a player. I could be wrong. Maybe at the end of the season, you were wrong. And if I am, I'll eat it. But you know what? I'm not going to be wrong because this guy's going to have a great year. Kyle Shanahan's going to get him in this offense, and him and Deebo Samuel are going to cause all kinds of issues with the multiple ways that they can be used. You couple that with Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, and Brandon Nyuk, it is probably the scariest offense to prepare for in the NFL. I say probably because you just don't know about injuries, but I'm trying to say all these guys are healthy, and when you add in this running back group that goes with it, the 49ers are just nasty. And Jalen Hurd, the things that he can do, I'm sure you've watched our video by now about the Jalen Hurd effect. If you haven't, check that out. But it is the things that he can do are unlike anyone else. I think Deebo is the closest to doing what he can do.
And it's still not the same.
It's not because he has the size advantage, right? He's 6'5", he's 230 pounds, and then you also add the running aspect. He's a legit running back. Deebo Samuel gets outside on outside runs and reverses by himself, and now you've got Jalen Hurd that can do the same thing at his size, his weight, and his speed. It's ridiculous. And yes, maybe I am a mark because I'm talking about this guy like this. And you know what? I'm all good with it. Because when he goes out there and he starts tearing it up, everything that I've been saying, I will be happy to be just sitting there quietly watching, appreciating,
you are not
enjoying.
You and I both know you're not going to be sitting there quietly. And you know what? If you're right about it, you shouldn't be sitting there quietly. You should be shouting it from the hilltops.
Yeah.
Because you have been on it literally since day one.
I have.
The podcast hasn't been around since Jalen Hurd was drafted by the 49ers. But I can promise you, since the day he drafted him, this man has been all over Jalen Hurd.
I've been thinking of creative ways to use him in the offense, and I'm not even the offensive coach.
Listen, there was the report came out, right, that after the Niners drafted Trey Lance, Shanahan was sitting there drawing up plays for Jalen Hurd. That was Ant for the last 3 years.
That is.
And he's not getting paid
to
do that.
No, 100%. That is exactly what I do. I think about all this stuff, the personnel groupings, everything, the way that he can manipulate offenses with Jalen Hurd, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Juice, and Nyuk. It's the most dangerous offensive weapons in the league.
And it's specifically because of the system they're in.
Yeah.
If you put these guys in another team system like a McVay's or things of that nature, you're not going to get the same type of results because they're not creative in that way with these guys in that sense, in that respect, right? This all stems back to Shanahan's pedigree. What his coaching lineage is, right? Which is Walsh. It's where his dad coached under. His dad was here in San Francisco, and you can see the similarities day in and day out with Kyle Shanahan's offense and some of the things that his dad Mike ran when he was the O coordinator here, as well as just stuff that Walsh implemented in his systems. There's so much crossover there. It's kind of scary. They do it in different ways, right? It wasn't the zone run scheme when Walsh was here. The zone run scheme is how Shanahan has accomplished it. But the zone run scheme has opened up so many different avenues for the fly sweeps and the reverses and the creative ways that he's already used Deebo Samuel. I cannot wait. You get a 4 wide receiver package with George Kittle on the field, Deebo running a fly sweep motion with Jalen Hurd having reset after lining up out wide in the backfield to punch one into the end zone, dude. It's going to be freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. I mean, I think everyone remembers the Packers NFC Championship where Deebo goes in motion, they fake to him, they give it to Mostert, and he runs around the outside, and Deebo lead blocks. Well, guess what? You can see that either way with Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurd, the flexibility, and Mostert as well is gonna be exciting to watch because nobody runs the outside zone in Kyle Shanahan's system like Raheem Mostert does. It is so fun to watch. He's a game changer because at any moment, a blink of an eye, he can take it to the house. He's one of those guys, he hits a hole and you're like, oh my gosh, he's gone. Before he even gets to the second level, that elite speed, it doesn't come around very often, and he's got it. I think we're going to see a lot of touchdown dances, a lot of surfing up. He's going to be getting down there.
Surf's not usually always up in Santa Clara, especially, but it's going to be this year.
It is when 31's running the ball.
That's for sure. It's a great number, by the way. It's a great number, Raheem Mostert. I love it. Absolutely, hang 10. Listen. We got another guy for you. Yeah. At least I do, and you might as well.
I do. I got another guy.
He's got another guy as well. This one might shock some people.
I like
right.
Shock.
We talk about impact or breakout players. Usually, guys that you can measure, right? You can measure the breakout. A little bit harder to measure in line, but I got one for you. And chat right now is spamming names, and they're probably not the names that I'm going to say, because I think it's going to be Daniel Brunskill.
Ooh.
And listen, this is why, right? We've seen the max potential from Daniel Brunskill. You've seen the matchups with Aaron Donald, in which he studs Aaron Donald up. He's able to contain and control Aaron Donald, and then Aaron Donald's trying to figure out who Deebo Samuel is afterwards, right? Because he doesn't know for some reason, even though Deebo destroys them every time they play him.
Okay. You don't want to know.
That's the reality of the situation, right? He don't want to know, and I don't blame him because it's pretty bad. It's been embarrassing. But Daniel Brunskill has shown something at that guard position, and that's why he's the starter coming into camp this year. He's the starter because he's shown that there's something there, but they haven't had an opportunity to fully let it grow and develop. Last year, the 2 injuries, the center position, thrust him into a role in a situation where he was having to learn center. They drafted him, and he started his development as a tackle, and it wasn't until middle of the year they kind of changed over in his rookie year to guard. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this guy could be it. He could be the solution at right guard, and the Aaron Banks pick, it's just there in case someone goes down or they decide to move off of Lincoln Tomlinson in the future, or he could be the Daniel Brunskill replacement. I have faith that Daniel Brunskill is going to turn into something and develop into something. He's shown that there's something elite there. There's something special there. He's got a high motor. He's a smart player. The real question is going to be, can he be dominant in the run game, right? And can he hold up long term against the elite interior pass rushers in the NFL? He's shown he can play at a high level. Can he hold up long term? Because I don't have those same questions about an Aaron Banks.
Right.
Because Aaron Banks has the size that Brunskill does not. I know he doesn't have some of the technique stuff that Brunskill has right now, but Banks will get there. He will get there over time. But Brunskill doesn't have that size. So can he take the physical beating? Can he hold up strength-wise against some of these bigger guys in the league? We know he can do it on a limited basis against a guy like Aaron Donald. Can he do it for 17 games in an NFL season? This is the test this year. This is where we find out if Daniel Brunskill is the real deal or if he's a flash in the pan. And you know what? I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to say this guy can get it done. Because I'll tell you what, the flexibility he's already shown, being able to go from tackle to guard to center back to guard, it's a lot of information and a lot of different skill sets rolling through your head in the short amount of time that he's been in the league. Now he's going to have a time to settle in, focus on one skill set, focus on developing and becoming the best guard he can be. And I think we're going to see one of the best guards on the 49ers roster emerge this season in Daniel Brunskill.
Well, he's definitely very talented. I mean, we've seen it the way that he's been able to handle himself, not only at the swing tackle position, but also at guard. And I think you're kind of hitting on it right there, is that this guy could be an eventual, Aaron Banks might have came to play right guard, but it might be because Brunskill's the eventual replacement for Alex Mack at center. That might be the eventual goal. But right now that you have Mack, you can play Brunskill at guard. I think you're right. I think that's going to be a real competition between Aaron Banks and Brunskill. But Brunskill's proven that he has the talent, he has the ability. I think the 49ers would like to see him win that job, only because I think they, feel bad about what happened last year. He really did get thrusted into a bad situation of having to play center. He does give you the flexibility of only needing to carry one center because he can fill in. And if there is an injury to Alex Mack, he moves over. You move Banks in, and you're insulating. You're taken care of.
Which I think both of us feel like is the least likely thing. The man played in the Super Bowl with a broken freaking leg.
Yeah, I don't think it's very likely, but I think it's something that they're making sure that they can do. It also leaves them capabilities to keep players in other areas. But I think you're right. Kind of in that middle, it's going to be Brunskill has a really good opportunity. If he plays, I think he will have a very good season because he's a very talented player that's proven that he can play against the very best, like you mentioned with Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk about the position next to him because my breakout guy this year is going to be Mike Mcglinchey.
Man, was this a breakout offensive players episode, or is this a double down, triple down episode?
Well, I'll tell you why. Number one is Mike Mcglinchey scored the second highest PFF rating last year in run blocking. The only guy that was better than him was Trent Williams. So that shows you the elite level of the running game portion of Kyle Shanahan's offense. The two tackles are absolutely wonderful. Now, in 2019, he had his best grade as far as passing. Pass blocking was 69, which is not great. But this last year, it fell off. And a lot of people think it's due to him, getting smaller. Maybe his technique fell off. Maybe he's not very good. I know I've heard a lot of that he's not very good. I will tell you, though, he is good. And my reason for saying that is, number one, it was a completely different season. They're playing from behind a lot. It meant there was a lot of times that he was, having to get a straight drop back and a straight kick slide, which isn't his game. That's not his game is really predicated on the run game going well, them being able to run play action where he can move laterally and have that fear so the person can't pin their ears back and come against him. I think that Mike Mcglinchey was a little bit smaller last year. I do think that he changed his diet, tried something new, tried to get more athletic, and it didn't work out. And so now he's come back and OTAs, and he already looks bigger. It looks like he's put on 15 or 20 pounds from last year. It means he's taking it serious, And I do think this guy was improving. I think 2019 is where he was headed, and I think 2020 is an outlier, and I think it's going to get fixed. I think you add Alex Mack to center. He's going to stabilize the offensive line. Brunskill, right next to him, they get some camaraderie going there. Even if it's Banks, they have camaraderie. They've played together. So they've insulated themselves to make sure Mike Mcglinchey's comfortable. Plus, we've talked about the weapons at other positions. You get those guys going with this run game. Once this run game going, it opens up everything in the offense. Play action, pass, slide protection, everything happens for Mike Mcglinchey. That's where he can be the most successful. Plus, when you're run blocking more than you're pass blocking, you're just going to be more successful. I'm going to tell everyone right now, expect it. 1 or 2 times a game, Mike Mcglinchey's going to get beat. That is what's going to happen. And you know what? Live with it because he's one of the best run blocking tackles in the league.
There is literally not another right tackle in the league that you can replace him with right now that's as elite of a run blocker.
Right. There's not. And there was no one that you were going to get in the draft that was as good a run blocker as him at the right tackle position. The pass blocking is something that needs to be fixed, and I'm telling you guys, and I know Alex agrees with this, that once you get the run game going and they get the play action going, Mike Mcglinchey's numbers will be better. And then everyone will be like, oh, Mike Mcglinchey just had the best season of his career.
Man, he really, you know what, he heard the faithful ripping him, man. He stepped it up. No, he just, course corrected the things he needed to course correct.
Yeah.
He fixed the things that he could control, right? And then, again, like you just said, if the offense is having success, if you're able to establish that run game, right, teams are having to stack the box and you can go play action. The ends can't just put the fan in the ground and fly downfield like that and just, I'm just going to go full speed right at this guy. If they have to play with responsibility and a gap control, setting the edge, they have to worry about those type of things. A lot easier to make blocks in space.
Yep.
And if that's where he struggles with is on the edge, kick sliding, protecting that edge and not letting the speed get around, then it's imperative, right, that you establish your run game. It's imperative that you bring in a guy like Alex Mack who can make those blocks and make those calls and make the adjustments for the line.
Big time.
It's imperative that Daniel Brunskill continue to develop, and if he can't, you go out and get an Aaron Banks who can come in and step in if he just can't get it done.
Yep.
They checked all the boxes they needed to check to make sure that not only this O-line can have success, but that each individual guy can have success. Right? If each of them is successful in what they do, this offense is successful. And if this offense is successful, that's less pressure on the defense to be elite, which means the defense is going to be even more elite than it already freaking is.
Well, and he's elite as far as a run blocker and a second level run blocker. The combination blocks.
I still can't believe there are people who think he's not a good second level run blocker.
The combination blocks that he has ran, with Person the year before, and then last year as well with whoever was playing guard for him. It was always very well done. He's very good at that. Where it's just the pass game, and it's always when they're playing from behind, and you've got a quarterback that's dropping back that maybe doesn't understand when you're supposed to run certain sets. When you're supposed to put Mike Mcglinchey in it. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're putting him in situations where he's going against a very speed pass rusher and sometimes two guys, you need to check out of the play to something else. That's either a Kyle Shanahan problem or a quarterback problem. I tend to think it's a quarterback problem.
What would make you think that?
I don't know. Probably because I've seen it a 1,000 times. It's like, dude, just check out the play, please.
Let's run a sweep with the DN 3 yards outside of Mcglinchey. Yeah. He can reach and make that block. It's fine.
But Alex Mack, you're right. Making the calls is huge. Jimmy Garoppolo being in there, knowing where to put them in what situations and what plays to run, which plays to can, which we've talked about before. You come out of the huddle, you've got a couple of plays. You decide which play to run by how the defense is set up in the pre-snap read and what you're looking at. Jimmy's good at that. Jimmy is good about getting Kyle Shanahan's offense in the right play that they need to run, and that's why they're so successful. And I think there was an understanding that maybe the quarterbacks last year understood it as good as Jimmy, but when you got on the field, you realized, no, they don't.
Not even a little bit. And you know what? That's why I'm going to say it right now. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a breakout player for the 49ers in 2021. Take it to the bank, but you're going to have to wait for that episode in which we talk about that and break that down because, we got other things we got to get done and recorded for y'all. So listen, let us know what you thought about this breakdown down below right now in the comment section. Did you like our breakout players? Did we miss anyone? Was there someone we didn't include? Let us know about it. And while you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Become a member of the Cutback community today. Help us get to 1K. We are so close.
We are.
I can literally see the numbers changing to 1,000. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a glorious day. This Cutback community gets larger every day. We are so excited for it. We love having you guys on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I enjoy the conversation. So if you don't agree with something we said, let us know. If you agree with something we said, let us know. Let's talk about it. Tell me why Mike Mcglinchey's bad. I'll have a conversation with you, guaranteed.
Luke and I had a great conversation the other day in the comments section about my take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being 5.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation. Both of us see it differently.
And that's the thing is we can see things differently. That's part of football.
Absolutely.
As people that watch it and fans, we look at the game differently. Everyone sees it differently. But let's look at it, analyze each other's point of view. Maybe some people will convince us to think different. Maybe we'll convince them to think different, and maybe it'll all play out, and then people will see, oh, okay, now I see what you were talking about. It's all fun conversation, and a lot of times it's an angle you didn't really look at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is always a lot of fun. We love this Cutback community. We love all of you and 49ers fans. Until next time, you stay safe.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.